Okay, everybody, we're going to talk about parts of a circle. So circles are interesting. They don't follow the same rules as the other shapes. So they actually have different parts. It's kind of interesting that they have different parts and different names. A story that I tell, and it's kind of an adaptation of a book, and I kind of change it a little bit and make it a little bit more brief. But back in medieval times, we had a knight. His name was Circumference, and he loved circles so much that he wanted to name part of it after himself. So he decided that the outside of the shape would be named after him. His name was Circumference, so he named it Circumference. Okay, so Sir, they changed the spelling here, Sir, and then Cumference. So his name is Circumference. So the circumference is the outside of a shape. Then he fell in love with Lady Di of Ameter, and he loved her. They got married, and when he married her, his gift to her was that he wanted to name part of the circle after her. So her name is Lady Di of Ameter, and he decided that how tall she was across the circle was going to be the diameter after Lady Di of Ameter. So time passed and they had a son, and Circumference wanted to name part of the circle after him. His name was Radius. And so the radius of a circle is from the middle of the circle, the center, down to the edge of the circle. So that is the radius. Now they got a dog. His name was Cord. And Cord, he was a little schnauzer, or not a schnauzer, a dachshund, or otherwise known as a wiener dog. And so he was long but short. And so a chord is the distance from one side of the circle to the other, but that does not pass through the center. So Circumference decided that he loved circles so much that he wanted to name the parts of the circle after himself. So it's called Circumference and the Knights of the Round Table is the actual book. If you want to check it out, you're welcome to. Mine is definitely a different adaptation of the story. So the story has a lot more really cool details. But for the length of our lesson, just to kind of give you an idea and a little bit of a picture of what those parts are, I always tell that story. Anyway, so as we look at our circles, here are the official parts. So you have the center, labeled in red there. That's the middle of a circle. The diameter, like Lady Di of Ameter, the line segment that connects 2 points on a circle and passes through the center. So I know our example of Lady Di of Ameter went from the top down through the bottom, and that would be a very straight line if I had a ruler. But it could be side to side. It could also be on the diagonal. As long as it goes from one side to the other and passes through the center, that is diameter. Okay, so this is radius. So a line segment that connects one of the points on the circle to the center, just like little radius that in the story went from the center to the bottom to show his height. The radius could be anywhere around the circle. And then here's an example of a chord. So it's a line segment that connects 2 points on a circle that does not pass through the center. So just like Cord the dog. And of course, circumference is the measure of the outside of the circle. And there's a specific formula to find the circumference, which we're not going to talk about in this lesson, but circles are really special. You don't find perimeter, you find the circumference. So circumference is basically like the perimeter of a circle, but there's a whole different formula to find it out. So here are the notes, just in case you're wanting to, pause it and take a look at these one more time. Center, diameter, radius, chord, and then talking about that the radius is 1/2 of the diameter at all times. So we always have half of the diameter that equals the radius. So in this case, the diameter is 4 centimeters and our radius would be 2 centimeters. So let's name this part of the circle. If you want to pause me, you can while you're thinking about this. The answer is the chord. Name this part of the circle. And this one is the diameter. Name this part of the circle. It's the center. Name this part of the circle. It's the radius. Name this part of the circle. It's the circumference. All right, try one more time. This is the center. This one is the chord. This one is the diameter. This is the radius. This is the diameter. This is the circumference. This is the radius. And this is a chord. So those are all the parts of the circle. I hope this was helpful. And again, the book is called Circumference and the Knights of the Round Table if you want to check out the actual story about circumference. So thanks for listening.